before we go into the question answer. Yeah. Okay, good evening, everyone. I hope you are ready with your questions, but a few points before we start the session. I had some very interesting interaction one-on-one here in Trivandrum with the candidates at Lead IAS, and many of those have also joined the StudyIQ intensive guidance interview guidance program. And Akash has added all of you who have joined today to the larger WhatsApp group, and he has also constituted smaller WhatsApp group. So just by way of repeating what I told you this during the course of the day, all of you should start reading the editorial article aloud tomorrow morning onwards, because those in Trivandrum haven't got the dates. You have more than a month before you have your dates coming in. So 1 month would be good time for you to practice that and improve your articulation. Two activities have to be taken. Number one, you have to read the editorial article aloud and then speak it out in your own words. And as you do that, the second part, you can record it in your video. It will also help you make an eye contact with yourself as you record yourself in the video. The second part would be the WhatsApp groups. So the guidelines for discussions in WhatsApp group have also been communicated by Akash. So read those very carefully. And in future, we will be communicating with you in the larger group. As we have been mentioning in the past, my suggestion to all of you is that read the messages in the main group very carefully. And if you are asked to respond, suggestion is please respond. Otherwise, take note of it and follow the instructions meticulously. This is critical, especially with regard to those who have problem in expressing themselves. I did find a few who had such a problem, and this drill that has been suggested to them will be extremely beneficial to them. So all those that have been added to the WhatsApp group today and have been made a part of a WhatsApp group for discussion should start the exercise from tomorrow. WhatsApp groups are critical. And I would suggest that don't find a reason not to attend those WhatsApp group discussions. Find a reason to attend those WhatsApp group discussions. You have to take a call and choice between what we are suggesting and what somebody else is suggesting. So I'm nobody to tell you what you should follow. But my suggestion is we speak from a bit of experience. And if you follow the suggestions, then the chances are that you'll be able to do well in interview. So with these words, we get down to business, as it were. We will take up sensitive questions that you may have in your mind, and then we will try and answer those questions. We would mean you would answer those questions. I will be merely adding a bit of value. So here we go. I look to electronic hands for the issues or questions. Today also, when I was discussing with some of you here in Trivandrum, I had suggested that let us discuss it in the evening, because some of the questions that were raised were very relevant. And I would believe that those questions need to be answered in the group here so that others also stand to benefit. Okay. So let's have your electronic hands. We had people asking me questions. I don't know whether they're here. Okay, Neha, please go ahead and ask your question.
Sir, I have a question on IR. It goes like, India recently abstained from voting on a resolution in UNGA for Russia to return Ukrainian children. In light of this, India usually do this. And if India wants to stake a claim on global high tables and be a pole in a multipolar world, is sitting on the fence advisable for India?
Okay, anybody volunteering to answer this? People from PSIR should be able to answer this question, or people opting for foreign service should be able to answer this question. I'm looking for hands, otherwise I'll call out a name. I'm looking for a physical hand being raised somewhere by somebody, and I hope somebody does it. I mean, today when I was interacting, I interacted with some very bright aspirants. Where have they gone? Are they here? But let me see if I can spot anybody here who was there in the morning. Vishnu Priya, you were so articulate when you came to talk to me. Do you have an answer to this? Answer this question. Unmute yourself and answer this question.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I'll try to attempt that question. Sir, in my opinion, the stance of India is that of multilateralism. And while dealing with a situation like this, India must focus on what are its bilateral ties with Russia as well as Ukraine. So, in my opinion, this is a gray area. And the future relations with Russia and future relations with respect to economic ties with Ukraine and Russia also must be considered rather than just considering the ethical point of view. So that, I think, defines India's position in this case.
Okay, anybody else? No one. Okay, Harsh. Unmute yourself, Harsh.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So, sir, the answer to this question can be India has always supported human rights cause on all global platforms. Specifically in this case, since I am not aware with the facts and wordings of that particular resolution, we cannot conclude that by abstaining to vote against that, by abstaining to vote for the resolution or against that resolution, India has endorsed any of such inhuman activities like capturing children during the war.
Okay, I will take it to somebody else, but I want to point out a very interesting point that Harsh makes here, and you all can use this as a strategy while answering your question. He says he's not fully conversant with the clauses, which is a very legitimate cause for not taking a firm view on that. You are not supposed to have read all the clauses. And this is a very nice way of getting out of a tight situation. It is indeed a tight situation. We'll come to the best answer in it. But I think the ploy that he has used for not getting into the controversial issue is a fairly reasonable one. What the board member could say is, a smart man could read out that clause, and then you will have to respond. But the chances are very remote. They are much more ignorant than what you are. So if you don't know it, the chances are they would also not know it. But in case they mention it, then you can structure a question. But what Harsh has done is, he's bought time for himself. So he can give it a thought and then see what he can do to it. Right? Okay, anybody else adding to answer this question? Yes, Himanshu.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, in the specific context of the recent children-related resolution, while it is true that India abstained and the ME also provided reasons such as non-neutrality of the text, but the broader actions of India with respect to UN resolutions on the Russia-Ukraine conflict, they reflect a consistency whereby India stands on its principle, as Honorable Prime Minister has said time and again. India is not neutral in this war, but on the side of peace. Similarly, with respect to UN resolutions, India has consistently upholded the principle that we want constructive dialogue and a resolution based on diplomacy. So politically charged resolutions is something that India has consistently abstained. And the recent abstention is in line with that. India advocates for a resolution that focuses on constructive diplomacy rather than political scores. So that would be my view, sir.
8 on 10. Excellent answer. You know what he's done is, he's not got into the controversy. He said that, it's like this. Two sides are fighting against each other. If you take the side of one, then you cannot be sitting as a mediator to get a resolution. So what India does is that there has to be dialogue. Now, if it is a politically surcharged resolution that is passed, then the dialogue stops. Condemnation takes place. Does condemnation provide a resolution to an issue? No. You are seen as taking sides. So that's what India has done. Neha, do you feel okay with this answer? I mean, I feel Himanshu has done a wonderful articulation of the answer. Whereas Harsh tried to wriggle out, Himanshu has hit the nail on the head and given the answer. And Vishnu Priya, you did well, but you skirted the main issue. Himanshu has actually gone into the issue, stated India's point of view, and also demonstrated that how such a stand is beneficial to India. After all, you are looking at the world view, you are also looking at your own interest. By taking a categorical view, as was suggested in this resolution, India's own interest would have been lost, apart from the approach to bringing about a rapprochement between two warring countries. Okay, right. Next question. Anyway, there was a hand which had, Vivek.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, my question is that since last year, the Supreme Court has given a judgment on the subcategorization of SC community. And the ex-Chief Justice of India comment has sparked the debate again. So board can simply ask what your opinion on this judgment or the subcategorization of SCs.
Okay, let me correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not as informed as you are. Did the Supreme Court give a judgment, or was it an obiter dicta, or an observation of the Supreme Court?
Sorry, sir, it was an observation, or we can say it was an opinion.
There's something called an obiter dicta. They announced something. I mean, that's not a law. A judgment is a law. Supreme Court. Sir. So there was a statement made in a discussion in a court, and subsequently Chief Justice made. So just a discussion point. There's no law to this effect. Had Supreme Court given a decision, we would be discussing the decision, not whether that decision should happen or not. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So this is a very sensitive issue. Whether there should be, if I can use the term, creamy layer elimination in the reserved category of scheduled caste.
Yes, sir.
My hunch is such a question will not be asked because it's too sensitive a question to be discussed. But it could be asked. As I said, we'll discuss every sensitive question in whichever way. Now, are there volunteers to answer this question? Yes. What is its name? Dinesh. Dr. Dinesh, yeah.
सर आवाज सुनाई दे रही है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल सुनाई दे रही है आपकी आवाज।
जी सर, हाल ही में देवेंद्र सिंह वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ पंजाब के अंदर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये ऑब्जर्वेशन किया कि एसटी एससी समुदाय के अंदर भी सब कैटेगराइजेशन होना चाहिए। सर, मुझे लगता है कि किसी व्यक्तिगत प्रगति का सामाजिक पृष्ठभूमि के अंदर उसको निर्धारित नहीं किया जा सकता है। फिर भी ये ऐसा देखा गया है कि उच्च पदों पर जाने के पश्चात जरूर सामाजिक स्थिति बदलती है, बट इसमें सर जटिल कारक है। हमें विभिन्न समुदायों के साथ संवाद स्थापित करते हुए इस दिशा में एक प्रगतिशील निर्णय लिया जाना चाहिए सर।
अच्छा, आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रस्तुत किया इसे, बहुत अच्छा प्रस्तुत किया। इसमें कोई आसान निर्णय नहीं है। मेरा व्यक्तिगत मत अलग है, जो मैंने अपनी पुस्तक में भी लिखा है। मेरा व्यक्तिगत मत वही है जो कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज ने कहा, और मैं आपसे शेयर कर सकता हूं। मेरा ये मानना था कि अगर एक जनरेशन या दो जनरेशन इसका लाभ उठा सकती है, तो तीसरी जनरेशन को लाभ देने की वजह से हम उनको वंचित कर रहे हैं, उन वर्गों को, उसी वर्ग के उन लोगों को वंचित कर रहे हैं जो शायद इसका लाभ उठा सकते हैं। पहला। दूसरा ये कि जब वो एक स्थिति पर पहुंच जाते हैं तो उनका इंटीग्रेशन सोसाइटी से हो ही जाता है बाय एंड लार्ज। उनको फिर से ये बताना कि आप रिजर्व कैटेगरी के हैं, हम उनको कैटेगराइज कर रहे हैं जबकि वो इंटीग्रेट हो चुके हैं। ये मेरा मत है, आपका भिन्न मत हो सकता है। ये एक ऐसा इशू है जिसपे आपका डिफरेंस ओपिनियन भी हो सकता है। बट दिनेश, आपने बहुत अच्छा इसका उत्तर दिया है कि इस प्रकार के विषय पर निर्णय लेने से पूर्व जो विभिन्न समुदाय हैं, जो इंटरेस्टेड पार्टी हैं, उनसे व्यापक चर्चा करके ही निर्णय लेना उचित होगा, क्योंकि इसके कई कारक हैं। खाली यही नहीं है कि कोई संपन्न हो गया तो उसको अलग कर दें, क्योंकि संपन्नता इसका आधार ही नहीं था। जो ये रिजर्वेशन था उसका संपन्नता आधार नहीं था, उसका कास्ट एक आधार था, और कास्ट यथावत बनी हुई है। तो ये बनी हुई है, क्या देना उचित होगा? दोनों तरफ इसके प्रोज एंड कॉन्स हैं, तो इस पर चर्चा करके ही निर्णय लेना उचित होगा। यही इस प्रकार के कंट्रोवर्शियल इशू में, देखिए, ये प्रश्न तो नहीं पूछा जाएगा, लेकिन इस प्रकार के प्रश्न अगर पूछे जाते हैं तो आपका व्यू यही रहना चाहिए कि आप पूरा सब मतों का समावेश करके उनसे चर्चा करके तब किसी निष्कर्ष पे पहुंचा जाना उचित होगा। फिर भी कह सकते हैं चलिए वो कर लेंगे, आपका क्या मत है। ओके, ये होता है कभी कभी। वो आपसे पूछेंगे नहीं नहीं फिर आप, वो तो ठीक है चर्चा होती रही, तब आप अपना मत बता दीजिए, जो भी आपका मत हो उसका कारण दे दीजिए। मैं अपना मत अगर बताऊंगा मैं कारण दे दूंगा, क्योंकि हर चीज का कारण हो सकता है। खाली मत मत दीजिएगा। यू अंडरस्टैंड, योर ओपिनियन शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन रीजन और फैक्ट्स। You can't just opine for the sake of opinion, right? Okay, we aren't debating it further because my hunch is this won't come. This question will not come. Right, next. Nisha is asking another question. I would love others to raise their hands as well. Anyway, till such time others raise their hand. Neha, please go ahead.
So my question is in similar line. It goes like, is caste census beneficial for India? Would it precipitate the caste mindset, or would it bring socio-economic development to the downtrodden caste?
Okay, very good question. And this could be asked. No, there's a difference between this and the previous question, because this is being debated in the society. That was an observation of the judge. Here, this is being hotly debated at political levels. Is caste census politically motivated? Will it divide the society further, or will it provide the entitlement to the right people? Okay. Any volunteers to answer this question? भाई आप लोग, yes. Yes, boss. Yes.
आवाज आ रही है सर मेरी?
आप अभी अनम्यूट नहीं हुए विविध, यू हैव टू अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ। आई डोंट नो, आवाज आ रही है आपकी, आप अनम्यूटेड नहीं है फिर भी। आप मतलब कोई नया जुगाड़ कर लिया आपने?
सर ये शिवांक है।
अच्छा, ये शिवांक है, ओके। शिवांक आप रुक जाइए, आपका तो प्रश्न है ना। आप विविध, आपने हाथ उठाया था, आप अपने आप को अनम्यूट कीजिए। प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ विविध। विल कम टू यू शिवांक। Vivid, you are unable to unmute yourself? Okay. Is somebody else volunteering to answer this?
Sir, now it's okay. Okay.
Yes, Vivid.
Sir, when we consider the data, the current caste-based reservation policy is based on the data which is almost 100 years back. The 1931 data is being used for the 1971 mandalization of caste, and the 100-year-old data and based on which the reservation is being calculated is not a scientific strategy, is what I feel. And also caste is a current reality. When we see a lot of people, for example, we take a group of people under Paruda Varna caste. They are so-called untouchables among the untouchables. So when we focus on the current reality, like 90% of the manual scavengers still are from the lower castes. So caste is a current reality. So without data, without census, we cannot frame a particular accurate policy and give adequate social welfare benefits to them. So I think having a caste census will help the government to approach the right section part of the community and give them benefits at due time.
Anybody else want to add, subtract, say something else? Shivank, you want to answer this question or you have a question? Is your physical hand up also? Okay, go ahead. Ask. Yes, Shivank.
सर, जो कास्ट सेंसस के पीछे आधार है कि जो भारत में सामाजिक आर्थिक सशक्तिकरण होना चाहिए या फिर सभी जातियों का जो समावेशी विकास में योगदान होना चाहिए, वह नहीं हुआ है। और डाटा वर्तमान में न्यू ऑयल ऑफ द इकोनॉमी है। डाटा के माध्यम से सरकार चाहती है कि जो अत्यंत पिछड़ी जातियां हैं उनका विकास करके उनके लिए एक लक्षित नीति बनाई जाए। इस दृष्टिकोण से सर कास्ट सेंसस आवश्यक प्रतीत होता है, लेकिन सर हमें यह भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि किसी की निजता का उल्लंघन न हो। और कास्ट जो राजनीति का जातिकरण, जो जाति का राजनीतिकरण है या फिर किसी प्राइवेसी का ना, तो इसमें एक सेंसिटिविटी रखते हुए सर इसको किया जाना चाहिए सर विकास के लिए। चाहे
No, look at the difference in the two answers. Both are good answers. Okay. But whereas Shivang brings in a balance in that answer. And I would suggest all of you should try and bring in the balance. You may have a hard view on a particular view, as Vivid has very correctly pointed out what he's saying. But as youngsters, you can't take an extreme view that this should be done. What Shivang has brought in here is that while doing this, these sensitivities have to be kept in mind. And attempt should be made that it is not exploited politically. There is a socio-economic cause for doing it. There is a socio-economic objective. If politics come into play, then the purpose will stand defeated. Here we are trying to uplift genuinely backward people. And how do you determine that? Through a census. That who's genuinely, who's worse, who's better off. There's no other way. So that's the objective is fine. But while implementing, if it is used for political purpose, as sometimes it appears, then it will not serve the purpose. So you bring about that balance. Vivid, do you get this point? I mean, what you said was very forcefully done. I think Vishwapriya want to say something.
Sir, I had a point to add on to what Vivek and someone else, I'm sorry, I can't recollect the name. I wanted to add a point to that, and please correct me if I am wrong. Sir, with respect to the caste census, there have been arguments that if census is conducted, it might lead to politicization and pressure on the certain castes. But the counter view, in my opinion, is that if the caste census is not conducted, that also can lead to further politicization because the people are not given the right to know about their present status in the society. So, in my opinion, that also necessitates us conducting a caste survey at this point.
Good addition. Good addition. It makes sense. It stands to logic. Okay, good. Okay, Mohammed Shizin.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I would like to add one more point to what my colleagues and friends have said earlier. So, caste in India is a reality. So in my opinion, if we conduct a caste census, it will help the government to identify the position of the various sections in the society, and it will also help them to curate tailor-made policies which are suitable for each and every person. A micro planning would be possible in that sense, and in that way it will also fulfill the constitutional obligation of bringing forth the marginalized sections of the societies.
Good addition. Though it's more of an elaboration what has been said, but you've done it very well. Okay, Karina, you have a question or you want to add to this? The protocol is that if you want to raise a question, electronic hand. If you're responding to the question, your physical hand. Is that okay? Otherwise, we'll get confused. Karina. Karina, you take your mic and everything off, speak into your laptop. Point is all these gadgets, I can't hear you what you're saying. Just take it off and speak into your laptop. Yes, Karina. Yes, Karina. You are now audible. Go ahead. Yes, Karina.
Good answer.
Karina, we can't hear you. Karina, there's something wrong with your audio. Karina, hold on. You get your audio correct. In the meanwhile, let's go to Varun.
Sir, am I audible?
You are audible, Varun.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question is that in the rising use of digital media and social media, there is increased use of social media by citizens, and there are also chances of use of these platforms undermining national security. So, how right is for the government to use its surveillance power to control and regulate the activities of citizens in the name of national interest?
Very interesting question. Very interesting question. Any volunteers to answer this question? Yes. Neha, yes, please go ahead. Neha, unmute yourself.
Our constitution provides us the right of privacy, freedom of speech in fundamental rights. So these are our fundamental rights, and surveillance state is against our very constitution. if we provide or if we allow the government to surveillance the common citizen in name of national interest, it would be a breach to the fundamental rights. However, having said that, in certain conditions and in certain special circumstances, for example, when law and order situation is in danger or in public security, certain measures can be taken, but that should be under due process of law, and for that special legislation should be brought forward, and there should be no allowance for a blanket proposal of surveillance or such provisions.
So the critical point that Neha is trying to make here is, and we must understand that, she's not against this surveillance. She says any blanket power, and that's the critical part. There again, through this answer, she's trying to bring out that balance of the requirement of national security and privacy. Balance can be maintained. If you allow government to do surveillance without any control, then privacy will go for a toss. So whereas in certain set of circumstances, surveillance may be necessary, and those circumstances can be defined. But blanket, for example, this application that was being forced on mobile phones to be put in the telephone would be a blanket authority given to the government. To that extent, you can have your reservation and say that this may not be correct in the long run. Whereas if there is necessity, if there is sensitivity in a particular area, in a region, there is law and order problem, there obviously the government has the authority. There is jamming happening, there is snooping happening, but the due process of law is there. One has to take necessary approvals before snooping happens. Okay, I think that's a good answer. Gaurav, you have a hand there. Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Gaurav.
So my answer to this question will be as follows. So, sir, in my opinion, there are two conflicting values here in this debate. One is the right of the citizens to express their views on internet and the right to privacy against the constitutional duty of the state to maintain law and order and national security. Sir, in my opinion, keeping those values in mind, there must be regulation on the use of social media. This is must, but there has to be following steps in order to make a policy, such as
What
social
happened?
media.
Okay.
Secondly,
Go ahead. We lost you in between.
sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Secondly, there should be precise and narrowly written policy, which amounts to less discretion to the administrators. And thirdly, there can be accountability, such as parliamentary accountability to decisions such as internet ban. So in my opinion, there should be regulation, but we must keep these things in mind while making policy.
So here he's structured the answer much better. Of course, substance could be brought from what others said, and the structuring is better when you say, when you answer a question, he begins the answer by attempting to bring out the balance between the two. One of you, when you started the answer, you started criticizing that it should not be done. I have always been of the view, the manner in which Gaurav does it, that you start with a balance. In the end, you may tilt towards one side, but you can't start by saying, sir, it should not be done. Though I think Neha spoke very well, but I got this impression that she's against it to begin with. Of course, she made it up by later on saying, bring out that balance, which was okay. You covered it up very well. But I think if you adopt Gaurav's approach, right from the beginning, you appear as balanced. But no harm in the way you said it, because you brought out that balance subsequently. Okay, Vishnu Priya?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Sir, my question is with respect to the recent parliamentary debate on the issue of Vande Mataram song. So there could be a question about, do you think that the remaining 6 stanzas of the Vande Mataram song must be added to the current status of the national song? What's your view on that?
Okay. Any answers to this? Should the remaining paras of Vande Mataram be added? Any volunteers? Physical hand I'm looking at, not the electronic hand. I'm going to call out a name of people who have not. Okay, yes, Dinesh. भाई बाकी लोग भी बोलिए, बाकी लोग मुंह पे बिल्कुल पट्टी लगाए बैठे हैं भाई, ऐसे कैसे काम चलेगा?
जी सर, सर मुझे इसकी जानकारी नहीं है कि जो बचे हुए रिमेनिंग स्टैंजा है एग्जैक्टली उनमें क्या मेंशन है सर। बट सर मुझे लगता है कि अगर वो भारत की कंपोजिट कल्चर और इसके अलावा समृद्ध विरासत और इतिहास को अगर दर्शाते हैं तो सभी पार्लियामेंटेरियंस के साथ संवाद करते हुए इसको इस पर चर्चा की जा सकती है और इसको शामिल किया जा सकता है।
लंबा नहीं हो जाएगा थोड़ा? मतलब you can bring in some sense of humor, I tell you. I did that in the second year, but you have to be careful about it. सर ये सब कहने के बाद आपकी जगह में होता है, मैं कहता साहब ये किया जाए, लेकिन साहब एक चीज का ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा, ऐसा ना हो कि पूरी पार्लियामेंट सेशन में सिर्फ गाना ही होता रहे। पता लगा 15 मिनट इसी में निकल गए गाने में, क्योंकि पर्पस तो 2 स्टैंजा से भी सर्व हो रहे हैं, आप क्यों 6 स्टैंजा ऐड कर रहे हैं उसमें? आप बात सही कह रहे हैं। फिर उसके बाद आप ये भी ऐड कर सकते हैं, सर अगर पर्पस 2 से हो रहा है और वो मैसेज जा रहा है तो और महत्वपूर्ण इश्यूज हैं इस देश के सामने उन पे चर्चा कर ली जाए। It's you lighten up the atmosphere. It's not very easy, but if you can do that, it is good. Anybody else wanting to answer this question? Any other view? Nisha has spoken. ये बेवल साहब को मैं Krishan Beval. What is your view on this if you are asked this question? Oh, there is a hand there. Sorry. Sushmita has raised her hand. So hold on, Krishan.
Hello, sir.
Yes, okay, Krishan, since
I'll
you
speak
unmuted
later.
yourself, answer this question.
Thank you, sir, for giving the opportunity.
No, I am
Sir,
giving opportunity to all of you. You don't have to thank me. You're not raising your hand. That's why I called your name. Okay,
Thank you, sir, once again. Sir, since I'm not conversant with the fact regarding the remaining stanza, but since if it is reflecting the India's ethos, composite culture, then it may be added upon by taking into the wide consideration of the remaining parliamentarians. However, I am also of the same opinion that if the same stanza are serving the purpose, then there is not that much need to increase the Vande Mataram.
Krishan, you started very well by getting out of it. You could have gone out. If you say what is not there in the next para, it will not be held against you. And then if you answer, you have a gate open. You can't be nailed. So you should be careful. If you're not aware of the facts, state that first. Don't start giving your opinion. If they ask, everyone should listen to this very carefully. You are asked a view on an issue about which you are not aware about the facts. So don't start answering the question. First, admit the fact that you're not aware. They may drop the question. They can still ask. Then you are on the safe wicket because your response is based out of your ignorance. And mind you, admitting that you don't know 4 will not go against you. So I thought you'll stop there. You'll say, sir, since I am not aware of the content of the rest of the paras, it may not be appropriate of me to comment. Period. It gets over. And then they may push you. No. But tell me if there were paras that you're not aware, then you can, whatever you say will be admitted. No, because you're not aware. They have pushed you to answer. But if you volunteer to answer despite ignorance of the para, then you could be in trouble. So friends, all opinions are based on facts. If you are not conversant with the facts, admit it first. And then if you are asked to give an opinion, give it. Don't start giving an opinion despite the fact that you're not conversant with what is there. Then you are doing conjecturing. Okay. Yes, Vishnupriya. I'll come to you, Gaurav. Yeah. You are on mute.
Sir, am I audible?
You are on mute. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, I myself wanted to try to attempt this answer.
Okay.
Sir, so my answer would be that it is imperative that we understand the historical context in which this song was written. It was based on the Sannyasi revolt when Bankim Chandra Chatterjee originally wrote this song. It was not supposed to be a national song. Later, because the first two stanzas showed the composite culture of India and it projected the national sentiments at that time, it was added as part of the national song. So any addition or deletion from the existing structure of the song must keep in mind the unity and integrity of the country.
First class. Very good answer. Yes, Gaurav.
Sir, my answer to this question would be as follows. Sir, firstly, I'm not very well conversant with what those 6 stanzas meant. But as far as I know, the debate is between whether the addition of these 6 stanzas will be more helpful in showcasing our cultural ethos versus whether it would undermine the social harmony in the country. So the question is whether all the sects, all the communities of our country will accept the 6 stanzas. So in my opinion, my stand would be just like the model we adopted in our name of India, that is India, that is Bharat, we can add those stanzas and we can left it to the freedom to choose to the citizens whether they in from both of them what they want to sing and what they want to celebrate.
Don't do that, please. In song, you cannot be selective. Name either or can go, but you can't say someone's next day someone will say national anthem. You add a paper para. You choose a para that you want to sing in national anthem. So there is a sanctity of national anthem and national song. So if it has to be 6, it will be 6. You cannot select one para and sing a song and say it's national song. It doesn't work that way. But anyway, now we go on to the next question. And since Harsh has not spoken, Harsh, please go ahead. Karina, I'll come to you next.
Sir, my question is, what should be our take when they ask, is the Indian media biased?
Okay, let's try and answer this question. Very interesting question. Is the Indian media biased? Any volunteers to answer this question? People who haven't spoken, I'm going to call out their name. Okay, so we have Shubhra. Shubhra, we can't hear you because I think you are still mute. Can you unmute yourself? Yes, you are unmute.
Sir, media's responsibility is to produce facts and figures on unbiased, without any biases, and it should not cater to any political motives or to serve any community. So I think media should do its job or the duty responsibility rather going on with the rather aligning with the ideology or to serve a purpose.
So let me analyze this answer for benefit of everyone here. Friends, you must be clear as to what is the question and answer the question. Don't answer something else. So here the question is not what media should do. The question was, is the media biased? So you have to address that question rather than telling this is what media should do. You understand the difference between what is and what should be? So is a factual statement and your opinion based on that. What media should do is normative, what they should do. So what Shubhra has very correctly answered is what media should do. But probably the question that was raised was not answered. So my suggestion to all of you is listen to the question very carefully. Otherwise, it will appear that you are sidestepping the question. So answer the question as it is asked. So question still remains. Is the media biased? Now here, important would be approach to answer this question. I'm not looking at yes and no. I have often said the board is looking at how you are approaching that answer. There is no definitive answer. We all have views whether the media is biased or not. Okay, everyone has this view. Maybe majority will say it is biased, but that doesn't matter at all. It is how you are trying to come to a judgment. That is very important. The process here is important. I saw a hand, somebody hand. Can you raise it again? Okay, Dubey, Puru Dubey. Yes, you are unmuted, Puru. We can't hear you. Something wrong at your end. Dinesh, I'll come to you. I'm just trying to see if Puru could speak. Okay, Dinesh. Puru will come back to you later on because we can't hear you.
जी सर, मीडिया भारतीय लोकतंत्र के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण स्तंभ है। लोकतंत्र की मजबूती के लिए मीडिया का बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन है। हाल ही में ऐसे आरोप लगे हैं कि मीडिया पर ऐसे आरोप लगे कि उन एक तरफा आइडियोलॉजी सर्व करना, येलो जर्नलिज्म और सनसनीखेज न्यूज और टीआरपी बढ़ाने के ऐसे आरोप लगे हैं। किंतु सर, यहाँ पर सिक्के का एक दूसरा पहलू भी है। भारतीय मीडिया ने लोकतंत्र की मजबूती के लिए भी बहुत कार्य किए हैं। विभिन्न सरकारी योजनाओं की पारदर्शिता के साथ उनका निगरानी की है। तो मुझे लगता है सर, यहाँ पर दोनों प्रकार की सर चीजें हैं।
ओके पुरु।
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Puru.
Sir, actually, it was my bad. I had not given the permission to Zoom. I'll try to attempt the question. Sir, Indian media consists of a diverse and a plural landscape of more than 140K newspapers, TV channels, and today's social
media.
Hold
on. Look at this brilliant opening statement. I want all of you to take note of what Puru said just now. He's providing a context. Some of you jumped onto in some of the answers. Now recall some of the answers. This is being recorded. You listen to yourself. You have all the time in the world. Listen to yourself. And that is how you'll correct it. This is a brilliant opening. What this opening does is, one, it gives a context. Second, it gives you time to think about your views on the issue. So it is really beneficial if while answering controversial questions, you first describe the context. And that context will give you a better understanding. It gives you time to reflect. Instead of jumping, sir, no, sir, media is not biased. Or, sir, what we've seen is it's biased. Now you've lost all the time, you lost all the credibility. Okay, go ahead, Puru. Sorry, I interrupted you because that was a brilliant opening.
So thank you, sir. So I'll continue again. So Indian media consists of the diversity and the plurality of the landscape, which has more than 140,000 newspapers, hundreds of news TV channels, and today's social media handles, which explore across the political spectrum and provide opportunity for diversity of viewpoints. Labeling Indian media as biased would require an objective assessment and a meta-analysis into the entire media landscape, which I'm not aware actually of. So I would not buy into the argument that Indian media is biased before any objective assessment comes to my knowledge or information.
देखिए कितने मजे से बच भी गए और अपनी बात भी कह गए. See, this is the beauty. He gets 9 out of 10. I'm telling you on this answer. He's ducked the question, but ducked it so beautifully. No one can doubt him on that. I mean, in most of the opinion questions, you have to look at objective empirical evidence whether that exists or not, or it's just an opinion that you're having. Andaz hai aapka. Here is a guy who's clearly saying that in order to conclude whether it is bias or not, we have to do some study. There has to be an empirical study. There's no such study. It's all impression. So one may say that it is, the other may say it's not. I think this strategy would be useful in other similar questions also. I'm sorry that many who are not joined have missed on this brilliant approach to answering question. Not merely this answer. What I like about it is the approach to answering this question. You must listen to Puru again in the recorded version and try and formulate your answers with this approach. I can guarantee that you'll do well. I have no doubt Puru is going to do well in his interview because this is for the first time I'm listening to him and I'm really impressed at the approach that he adopted. And in controversial question, this has to be the approach. Okay, next question. I see Vivid. Yes, Vivid. Puru, I'll come to you again if you have a question.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, how much do you weigh privatization of Air India as a reason for the recent airline crisis?
How much? So come again.
How much do you weigh privatization of Air India as a reason for the recent airline crisis.
Okay. Can you attribute the recent airline crisis to the privatization of Air India?
Yes,
Any
sir.
answers here? Anybody attempting to answer? I mean, this sort of question will not be asked, but let us see if it asks how it will actually test your sense of humor here. First of all, are they related? And if they are, is Air India responsible? These are two parts to this question. So whether Indigo flights get cancelled, is Air India responsible, or privatization of Air India responsible for what happened in Indigo? Yes, Harsh.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
You are audible, Harsh. Yeah.
Sir, the recent airline crisis is attributed to the poor planning and mismanagement in the Indigo Airlines due to lack of proper captains as the new rules and regulations of DGCA appropriated. They had to cancel more than 500 flights in a day. Since all this chaos and issue is related to the mismanagement of Indigo Airlines, I don't think privatization of Air India has any role to play.
Excellent answer. Well articulated, good answer. Anybody want to add to this? I mean, this is a perfect answer. He's gone, explained facts, and said that it is not. I would have concluded by saying it may be a bit far-fetched to say that Air India's privatization led to this, because there's no direct relationship between these. Yes, Puru.
Hello, sir. Sir, I had some questions.
Please go ahead.
Yesterday we were discussing about the conduct of the Chief Election Commissioner holding a press conference and asking for affidavit from the leader of the opposition. Since we are discussing sensitive issues, and I do not think that it was adequately answered yesterday, I would like to be clarified on this.
Okay,
on how to approach it.
So what sort of a clarification are you seeking?
Supposing that I am asked of this question, that was the conduct of the Chief Election Commissioner justified?
Okay, so what would be the answer? Let's attempt to answer that question again. Anybody? No one? This question could be asked, by the way. So you should be ready to answer this question. Shrey? We answered this question yesterday. He wants a clarification. That's why we are revisiting that. Yes, Shrey.
Yes, sir. So elections are the bedrock of democracy, and Chief Election Commissioner's position is a very important, significant constitutional position, which holds the credibility of this whole election process. It won't be the conduct of the election commissioners in the press conference, in my view, could have been better if the sorry, sir, I won't be able to answer, sir.
Okay, we leave it at that. Anybody else? Yes, Gaurav.
Sir, my attempt to this question would be as follows. Sir, in my opinion, the Chief Election Commission of India and CEC, their neutrality, and they must not only be neutral, they must also be seen to be neutral for the sustainable elections, neutral elections, and the belief system of the electors on Indian democracy. So, sir, in my opinion, the press conference could have been handled better if there must have been more objective analysis, objective proofs to defend the commission against the allegations raised by the opposition party. So, and the politically charged comments on the opposition party must have been avoided. It would be better, sir, in my opinion.
Any other person here? Yes, Dinesh.
जी सर, किसी भी लोकतंत्र में उसकी संस्थाओं की बुनियाद उनके जनता के विश्वास पर निर्भर करती है। जनता का विश्वास ही उस संस्था की बुनियाद निर्धारित करता है। सर, अभी इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया पर चुनावी अनियमितताओं और इलेक्टोरल वोटर रोल्स में अनियमितताओं के जो आरोप लगे, तो अपने इस सम्मान और बुनियाद को बचाने के लिए इलेक्शन कमिश्नर ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की। तो ये करना आवश्यक था, किंतु मुझे लगता है कि प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के अतिरिक्त उन आरोपों की पारदर्शिता के साथ जांच भी करके और इसे बेहतर बनाया जा सकता था। साथ ही साथ विभिन्न हितधारकों, जिसमें मतदाताओं के साथ 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 पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का भी, उनके साथ भी संवाद स्थापित करके इसे और बेहतर बनाया जा सकता था।
देखिए, अब आप लोग जो हिंदी नहीं समझते हैं या समझते हैं, कितना सही शब्दों का चयन इन्होंने किया है। बात भी सही कही है और शब्दों का चयन बिल्कुल सटीक है। हर शब्द अपनी जगह पर बिल्कुल फिट है। और इन्होंने कहा क्या करना चाहिए और एक सुझाव भी दिया इन अ सेंस कि इट कुड हैव बीन बेटर, एंड नो वन कैन डिनाई दिस। सो आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी वैलिड आंसर. Puru, you'd like to add something to it, or there's still confusion in your mind? Yes, Puru.
Sir, since I was wrestling with this question overnight, so I would like to add. So my response would be free and fair elections and public trust in the electoral system is the bedrock of any democracy. While the Chief Election Commissioner did well to host a press conference, rebut claims of vote chori raised by the leader of opposition, it was also unusual in that it demanded affidavit from as a legal statement from the leader of opposition. In that respect, the conduct could have been much more open, and ultimately whether the actions of Chief Election Commissioner are justified will depend upon the actions he takes to ensure that the trust in the electoral system remains in the future.
So आपने उसको अंग्रेजी भाषा में रूपांतरित कर दिया जो इन्होंने कहा था। थोड़ा एक आध चीज आपने उसमें ऐड की है। दोनों ही उत्तर बिल्कुल सही हैं, और दोनों ही उत्तर सुन के ऐसा नहीं लगता कि आप किसी के अगेंस्ट बायस हैं। आप एक ऑब्जेक्टिवली देख रहे हैं और सामान्य नागरिक के रूप में आप देख रहे हैं कि जिस भाषा का उपयोग किया गया उसकी क्या आवश्यकता थी, ये है प्रश्न। क्योंकि अगर आप किसी की साख की बात कर रहे हैं तो जो जिस भाषा का आप उपयोग कर रहे हैं वहां पर, वो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। तो ना केवल तथ्यों का बल्कि भाषा का और टोन का, ये सब में बेहतर हो सकता था। आप ये नहीं कह रहे हैं गलत था, इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा शब्द इस्तेमाल किया कि उसमें सुधार हो सकता था। आप एक तरफ ये भी हो सकता है, कोई गुस्सा आया आदमी कहेगा उन्होंने ये गड़बड़ किया, उन्होंने ये गलत किया, ये नहीं कहना चाहिए था। बट आई थिंक बोथ ऑफ यू हैव ब्रॉट आउट दैट डिजायर्ड बैलेंस दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड इन दिस क्वेश्चन. ओके, but let me tell you, they will not touch election commission in this. There are instructions. Such controversial questions are not raised. But I am raising them here not because of the question. I am raising them here to judge your approach to answering it. Because once you understand the approach, once you understand the manner in which Dinesh, Puru are answering questions, you will learn from them as to how do you approach such questions. And then you'll be able to answer any question that comes. It's not only this question, the approach matters. I think we have Muhammad Shazin, please. Yes, Mohammed.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like to add one more point to this, what my friends have told. I mean, like, sir, conduction of free and fair is part of the basis for the doctrine of our constitution. So, I think it is well within the purview of the election commission to take so cognizance of the allegations that are leveled against them, and the election commission did a fairly good job of addressing most of them by calling a press meet. But what they could have done a bit was like they could have initiated a constructive dialogue with all the stakeholders, all the political parties, so that the election machinery can be can function a bit more efficiently in that manner.
Okay, good. Shazin,
Yes, sir.
I would suggest, I'm assuming that you don't have your date as yet of the.
Yes. No, sir, it's yet to come. Yeah.
So you have time. So you will have to practice articulation a bit more. Okay.
Yes.
Follow the drill that I have suggested. You'll be able to express yourself more fluently. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Vishnu Priya.
Sir, I had a question regarding international relations. Sir, recently we have seen Gen Z protest erupting all around the world, starting from Bangladesh in 2024. It has spread like a wildfire with certain countries like Indonesia, Maldives, Morocco, etc. So while the reasons that are being suggested is large-scale dissatisfaction, unemployment, and job loss, competition from other migrant workers, there also seems to be a larger political connotations to these Gen Z protests. There have been allegations that they are foreign funded or aimed at toppling the democratically elected governments in these countries. So, what are your take on it? Is it these are genuine issues, or is it part of the big picture or a big game? What is your opinion on that?
Okay. Anybody attempting to answer? It is a good question because there is a lot of conjecture in it. So when there is a conjecture, what sort of an answer you should give? Okay, right. Any physical hands up there? Himanshu, you've spoken. I want somebody else to speak. Oh, wonderful. It is Shanti. Shanti Varghese. Yes. I was wondering why aren't you speaking? You had a few questions also asking with me. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Sir, good evening, sir. Am I audible?
You are very loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, with respect to the question, my opinion is that the very fact that the Gen Z, the community is protesting, it itself a manifestation of democratic values because they have every right to express their views and their dissent. And for the part that they have been funded by foreign entities, we don't have evidences, solid evidences to prove such a speculation. So for that, a proper and a very extensive investigation should be done to make a solid comment on that. And provided the different issues that they are being protesting, be it unemployment or any other issue. And if there are genuine concerns, it is the prerogative of the government to address the issues and to bring in solutions for the issue. This is my take on it, sir.
Good. Anybody else? I don't see any other hand coming in. Anybody? Yes, Neha. Neha, you're still not unmuted. You were speaking earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, sir, there was a problem. The host was not unmuting.
Okay.
Sir, my answer would go like, in the recent context, be it in Bangladesh students protest or Nepal social media user youngsters or in Indonesia's student outrage, all of them points toward a very common fact, which is stagnation, unfulfillment of aspirations of the youth, and very high scale unemployment. These are measured facts, and the outrage of youngsters and students were a demonstration of democracy itself. However, the allegations of foreign involvement and the and with the hidden motive of toppling the governments of those countries can be only justified if proper investigations are done, which I don't think is being conducted so far. So, sir, in my opinion, these are precipitations of outrages of genuine concerns and not some foreign policy concerns.
Excellent. That's the answer. That's the answer to this question. Rishika, would you like to add or subtract? I have Puru raising his hand. Hold on. Puru, yes. Puru, unmute yourself.
Sir, the recent Gen Z protests across different countries is a result of the governance, weak governance in those countries, rising corruption, unemployment, as well as demonstration effect caused by social media. When one such incident took place in Bangladesh, as regards to the foreign involvement in these protests, I'm not privy to any such information, so I would not hazard any guess.
Short, sweet, and you say the same thing what Neha said, but in a much more precise manner. Exactly the same. Rishika, you had raised this issue. Who had raised this issue? I forgot who raised the issue. Anyway, so Gaurav wants to add something. Gaurav, please go ahead.
Sir, my attempt would be, sir, recently we have seen Gen Z protest in our neighborhood, which have resulted in toppling of the government in Bangladesh and Nepal. So, sir, the major issues which were raised during this Gen Z protest were erosion of democratic institutions, rising unemployment, low economic growth, as well as political instability. So, sir, these issues had been intensified by the presence of social media also. And sir, about so in my opinion, these concerns and these issues are real in those countries. So on the question of whether there was a foreign hand involved or foreign funding was there, so there are no enough proofs to come to a conclusion that whether it was there or not, sir. And contrary to this, whether the foreign hand was involved or not, there are many countries such as in India, etc., where the grievance redressal mechanism are in place. If that is in place, so there are no such Gen Z protest yet in these countries. So we cannot say that it is a part of bigger game. It were more localized and based on their national issues more.
Okay, so we have run out of time. I can see two hands, but we'll be taking another session, and the date will be announced soon. We can keep discussing this. I hope you benefited. I personally benefited out of some of the answers that were given, some of the structuring that was done. I think Puru, Neha, all of you came up with very good answers, and others should learn from those answers. Something which you could do in your WhatsApp group discussion also. Before I conclude, a couple of mentions. Number one, once the group discussions start, the WhatsApp group discussion, subsequently, these groups can convert themselves into virtual mocks. So the 4 or 5 persons can interview the 5th or the 6th person and share your DAFs in the group so that the other members of the group can ask questions on that. It will benefit both who are asking the question as well as who are answering the question. Again, the bottom line here is speak, speak, and speak. Bottom line is practice, practice, and practice. Like I'm already seeing some of you are able to come up with answers and are fluent at it. Some of you will have to work harder, go through that drill and improve your communication skills. So good night to all of you. We'll meet again very soon. We have another round of discussion lined up on sensitive questions or situation-based question. And thereafter, we'll have a discussion on DAF 2. Those that have joined today, there are 3 videos that have been sent to them. I would suggest watch all 3 videos. The links are there. First is how to prepare for UPSC interview or personality test. That's a standalone video just to explain to you what steps you should take. I've been talking about them. When you listen to that and make points, probably you'll be able to implement what is being suggested. The second one would be the one on DAF. We have already had a session on DAF-based questions. And the third one was the session that we took yesterday. So all these sessions are available. Unfortunately, the sessions that we had with toppers, for privacy reasons, we did not record it. So we missed out. We'll see if we can get some other topper. But I think these discussions would certainly help you. We are keeping a record of these discussions. You can access them. As soon as this gets over, Akash will place this in the main group and you can access these. Again, I'm repeating, please read the messages sent in the main group, because that's where we are communicating with you. I don't want to keep repeating. And to those that I interacted with this morning and this afternoon in Trivandrum, many of you have joined it. I would suggest that you talk to your other colleagues. Those that have not filled in that Google form should do that. And I'll be having another round of discussion tomorrow here in Trivandrum. I would have loved to carry on, but I'm a bit tired actually. Through the day, I've been talking to you all, and I'm an old man, unlike you all youngsters. But all the best to you. Take care. God bless you, and keep smiling. We'll meet again.